Lulubusi manjala pecuelo, mama. Hush you boy, don't you cry. Go to sleepy little baby.
Das Siegel ist gefallen Handen.
Today is born out of yesterday, and there's no birth without pain. Spring, 1901. 16 years old, coming to America with 5 words of English.
My name is Zina Gurevich. Impossible language. I'll never learn it. My name is Zina Gurevich. My name is...
In the old country, I worked like an animal. And even before my children are born, the mark is on them. Animal. Before God, I swear my children will not live as I have lived.
Freedom doesn't come like a bird on the wing, doesn't come down like the summer rain. Freedom, freedom is a hard-won thing. You've got to work for it, fight for it, day and night for it. And every generation got to win it again. Pass it on to your children, mother. Pass it on to your children, brother. You've got to work for it, fight for it, day and night for it. Pass it on to your children. Pass it on.
New arrivals scheduled for examination will present themselves with their documents. Find the line matching the letter on your tag.
Name?
Avrum Bialik.
Place of birth?
Odessa. How much money you got?
No understand.
Money, dinero. How much money?
We've got 5,000 to process today, so let's keep these lines moving. You got exactly 2 minutes to ask him 32 questions and finish health inspection. Keep an eye out for TB. We're getting a lot of it lately.
Name?
Kasimir Sienkiewicz.
Spell it.
Please?
Skip it, we'll make it Simpson.
Please, God, let nothing go wrong. Let them not notice the baby's runny nose. Let them take us into America.
Why do you keep asking me what it's going to be like? I told you 1,000 times. The streets paved with gold and the houses all marble. Yeah, even the toilet.
Is this a country? Golden America. Learn, study, pay attention. Keep your eyes open, you hear? This is golden America, where millionaires grow on trees like little apples.
Is this a country? As true as I'm standing here, one family, Vanderbilt, has got 7 houses on 5th Avenue. Also, in case they need a little fresh air, a dump on Long Island and a hole in the wall at Newport. Not to mention a 60-room shack in North Carolina. I read in the paper, just to take care of the grounds, they spend more than the whole Department of Agriculture. So let it be a lesson. Save your money.
Official New York City Housing Survey, 1905.
We find it difficult to convey conditions in the new immigrant neighborhoods. Darkness and dampness and dirt. Dirt and discomfort and disease. Diphtheria and death.
Mulberry Street, 17 of us in 4 rooms. Uncle Antonio from Naples, Aunt Bianca and the kids sleeping in the parlor. If I ever get a boyfriend, where can we go to hold hands? Into the park with the pigeons.
My dear, there are certain rules of etiquette one simply does not question. A lady does not show her ankle or raise her voice. If unmarried, a girl must be accompanied by a chaperone. A female relative, a maiden aunt, perhaps, is considered quite satisfactory. Naturally, the best and safest thing to do is to stay at home and help Mother about the house.
12 hours a day. Mama makes 50 cents. I make a dime. Louis makes a nickel.
Laying down track for the westbound train, stacking up timber in the state of Maine, digging out coal in the West Virginia hills, hammering steel in the Pittsburgh mills. Immigrants from Austria and Italy, immigrants from Riga on the Baltic Sea, green-eyed Slovaks, blue-eyed Swedes, Irishmen from Limerick, Englishmen from Leeds. Six-day week and a 12-hour day, and it's welcome, boys, to the USA. $1 a day for a factory hand, and it's welcome, ladies, to the promised land. Immigrants and the sons of immigrants, putting down roots, hanging on. Stubborn as the tree that pushes its way up through the rock. Acrobats and clowns, rascals and lovers, builders and dreamers, leaving their signature on the cities. From Bratislava and Budapest, from Calabria and County Cork they came, dreaming of gold in the streets, and finding no miracles, they made their own. The miracle of friendship, the miracle of laughter, the miracle of the generations. The miracle of learning.
Listen, you want to hear the presidents? George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson.
Professor Genius, what else did you learn?
Daniel Webster, quote, "Justice is the great interest of man on earth."
From your mouth to God's ears.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Golden America, half dream and half nightmare.
When I die, don't bury me at all. Hang me up on spool room wall. Place a bobbin in my hand so I can keep on working in the promised land. I got the blues, I got the blues, I got the Winsboro cotton mill blues. I got the blues, I got the blues, I got the Winsboro cotton mill blues. Lordy, Lordy, schooling's hard. You know and I know, don't have to tell. You work Tom Watson, gotta work like hell.
Two million children in the mills and the mines. 6 million grown-ups unemployed.
Why hire a man for $1 when you can hire a kid for a dime?
I was taught in my youth that it was the height of vulgarity to discuss money.
A professor in Chicago came up with a few statistics.
An American family cannot adequately survive on less than $900 a year. The average working man earns about $400.
When the Union's inspiration through the workers' blood shall run, there can be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun. But what force on earth is weaker than the feeble strength of one? For the Union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever.
The garment workers of New York, keeping alive a tradition going back to the Philadelphia printers who formed a union before Washington was president. Immigrants and the sons of immigrants, carrying on the heritage of the Boston carpenters who fought for the 10-hour day while Missouri was still Indian territory.
Hold the fort, for we are coming. Union men, be strong. Side by side we'll battle onward. Victory will come.
As spokesman for the mine owners, I assure you the rights and interests of the laboring man will be protected and cared for not by the labor agitator, but by the Christian man to whom God in his infinite wisdom has given control of the property interests of this country.
Freedom doesn't come like a bird on the wing, doesn't come down like the summer rain. Freedom, freedom is a hard-won thing. You've got to work for it, fight for it, day and night for it. And every generation got to win it again. Pass it on to your children, mother. Pass it on to your children, brother.
Came to Chicago, green off the boat, 1910. Got myself a job at a men's clothing shop, Hart, Schaffner, and Marks. Sit at the machine, shaking in your boots, scared of being fired. For talking, sneezing, looking at the foreman, cross-eyed.
Busy season, get up before dawn, come home in the dark. Your children's faces you don't look on, except when they're sleepy. And in the slack season, speed up. You can go crazy with the speed up, turning out more and more and more for the same money.
Just like this, all of a sudden, the foreman announces they're cutting the piece rate for seaming pants.
You got a wife and kids to support. You keep your mouth shut.
Lucy, you gonna just sit there and take it? Not me, I'm not taking it. I'm walking out.
Sure, it's all right for them, a handful of girls. I got kids to feed.
They warned us. Walk out and you're blacklisted, finished in Chicago.
Why doesn't the union do something?
The so-called union, my boy, is strictly for the cutters, the aristocrats. They're not interested in greenhorns.
What am I doing in here, taking over their work? I ought to be out there with them.
What do we do?
I don't know what you're going to do. I know what I'm going to do. Out. I'm walking out.
Do you hear? Do you hear the latest?
3,000 out.
6 more shops out.
18,000.
35,000.
You hear? 40,000 out. Heard a rumor the union's looking to make a deal under the table and sell us down the river.
I'm as mild mannered girl as can be, and I've never done them harm that I can see. Still on me they put a ban, and they throw me in the can. They go wild, simply wild over me.
4 months of broken heads and empty stomachs. 4 months out in the freezing street. 4 months standing together, standing solid.
I see Charlie out there walking in the line. Up comes the foreman, gives him a punch and yells, "Go home, troublemaker." So Charlie says, "I got my rights." Rights they gave him. A bullet in the head they gave him.
How do you do, sir? My name is Jane Addams. I'm a social worker. I wonder, Mr. Schaffner, how long it's been since you saw with your own eyes the conditions under which these people work for you?
So I went down to my factory and I looked. And then I wasn't surprised they were on strike. I was only surprised they waited so long.
Schaffner's willing to arbitrate grievances and wage demands.
What does Hillman say?
All we want is to be treated as human beings, not machines. Arbitration is the first step.
All right, so they got arbitration. They got a little security at Hart, Schaffner, and Marx.
It still leaves the rest of us right back where we started.
You think this is the end? Take it from me, this is only the beginning.
Something in the wind blowing east from Chicago. A restless murmur running through the shops. Something being born. A beginning. A hope. New York, 1912. Heart of the men's clothing market. 60,000 vest makers and buttonhole makers, pressers and pants makers, cutters and tailors, slapped in jail by the police. Bailed out by a tough little labor lawyer named Fiorello LaGuardia.
You hear? We got a settlement. A 53-hour week.
A big present they gave us. Ice in the winter.
Listen, whatever you get, you have to fight for it. If I am wrong, if my information is mistaken, please correct me, which I will appreciate. Thank you.
Something in the wind. Something struggling to be born. Baltimore. Strike and sell out. Rochester. Sell out and heartbreak.
The union's having a convention. Nashville, Tennessee.
Why Nashville? The biggest locals are New York, Chicago, Baltimore.
That's the reason. We've got complaints, so they're making it tough for us to get out there.
So why Nashville? Why not Alaska?
Beg, borrow, somehow scrape together the money for train fare.
Nashville! All out for Nashville!
Locals from New York, Boston, Rochester, Cincinnati, Philadelphia, and Baltimore are delinquent in dues and will not be seated.
We were all on strike. We didn't have to eat, so how can we pay dues?
Observers in the balcony have no right to speak.
Baltimore's still out on strike.
Brother in the balcony is out of order.
Chicago insists that the brother in the balcony be heard.
Delegate from Chicago is out of order.
Listen, word just came in from Nashville. Chicago walked out of the convention. Yeah, and New York and Baltimore.
Boston, Philadelphia, and Cincinnati.
75% of the membership walked out.
Really? What does it mean? Holding their own convention.
Yeah, we're setting up our own union.
It'll be an outlaw outfit. Won't even be an heir for Bell. Sidney, you're out of your mind, staking your head on a wild gamble.
In the month of December in the year 1914, they gathered at Webster Hall and they took the gamble.
It was our dream to give security to our members. Security within the framework of liberty, of individual freedom. Lincoln said, a nation cannot exist half slave and half free. Neither can a man. We cannot exist free politically, but slaves industrially.
Dear brother, we just formed an organizing committee for the Amalgamated clothing workers out here in Milwaukee. 2 French buttonhole makers, 3 Jewish cutters, a Serbian, a Bohemian, 2 Italian pants makers, a Lithuanian girl, 2 Poles, a Swede, and a Hungarian.
Starting with nothing, with empty pockets and a barrel of hope. Organizing New York and Chicago, Wisconsin and New Jersey, Baltimore and Boston, Kentucky, Missouri, Ohio, Montreal, Toronto, Pennsylvania.
Dear Brother Hillman, maybe you can come to our assistance. We had a little strike down here in Philadelphia. Our business agent got thrown in jail. I haven't got to buy postage stamps, much less pay the fine. Worst comes to worst, don't worry. I'll hock my overcoat.
Listen, I'm a boss, so don't quote me. Tell you the God's truth, the union is the best thing ever happened in this industry. We've got arbitration. We can come together like human beings, set standards, set rates, in a civilized manner, you know what I mean? Since we went union, we never had a strike.
January 1st, 1915. Special to McClure's magazine. Midway through the Wilson administration, there are indications that the nation is seeing the beginnings of a new freedom. A weakening of the grip of monopolies by the passage of the Corrupt Practices Act, the Clayton Antitrust Act, workmen's compensation, child labor laws.
Immigrants and the sons of immigrants, fishermen from Nantucket, factory hands from the Lower East Side, farm boys from Arkansas.
Goodbye, Ma, goodbye, Pa, goodbye, mule with the old hee-haw. I may not know what the war's about, but I bet by gosh I'll soon find out. I'll bring you a Hun and a Kaiser too, and that's about all one feller can do. I may not know what the war's about, but I bet by gosh I'll soon find out. Oh, my darling, don't you fear, I'll bring you a gun for a souvenir.
U.S. Army. Dead and missing, 130,500. Wounded, 234,300. U.S. Steel, profits, $2 billion. In the backwash of war, depression, and a rising hysteria. In a single year, 61 murders by lynching. Revolution in Russia touching off panic at home. Victims of the Palmer raids, their houses ransacked without search warrants. 3,000 foreign-born arrested, denied lawyers, held without charges for 3 months. In Pittsburgh and Gary, Indiana, it was the 12-hour day. Take it or leave it. And you better take it if you know what's good for you.
Tell me, what is a vigilante man? What is a vigilante man? Does he carry a club and a gun in his hand? Would he beat your brother and sister down?
Amalgamated Clothing Workers of America to AFL. Enclosed, find our contribution, $100,000 for the relief of the steel strikers. We know that this is only the beginning of one of the greatest attacks ever directed against American labor.